guys, welcome back to the Cocco channel and to another dating horror stories. What are my bangs doing? Sorry, so we're gonna kind of try and wrap up the whole story with my ex-ass. So you guys know we already broke up. Things got crazy. He moved out. I kicked him out. I sold all of his stuff to be a jerk, and I shouldn't have done that. As a mature adult looking at it now, I shouldn't, but he kind of deserved it. Anyway, so remember I told you guys, like, he moved out and it didn't really end on the best of terms, and I put out an ad to get a roommate because I couldn't afford this apartment by myself. And I didn't want to be by myself. I was like in this apartment by myself for a couple of weeks, and I was just like in a bad place. So I get a new roommate, and she was like super cool. She was a college student, and she was also a photographer. She was really cool. So she moves in and everything's going pretty good, and I get a phone call, and it's from Ass, and I'm like, ugh, you know, I've already kind of detoxed myself from this guy. Do I really want to pick up the phone? And so I don't, and he keeps calling me. And so I knew from one of his friends told me that when he left, he moved in with another friend, and also the girl that he cheated on me with, and her, I think she had like 3 kids, and I never really mentioned before that he had a son who he had actually 2 kids, but with his ex that before me, he had a little boy, and so when him and I got together, he was like just about to turn 2, and I like absolutely loved this kid, and I took better care. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that. But I really did take care of this little boy on like a day-to-day basis. So anyways, Ass moves in with this girl and her 3 kids, right? And it was like the same exact situation as what happened with me, so this just goes to show. So I knew that, and that was another part of why I didn't want to pick up the phone. I was just like, he's just gonna try and play games, you know what I mean, with my mind, and he's already with this girl again, and I'm not gonna fall into the same trap of him living with a girl and me, you know what I mean, doing anything with him, because it would be just history repeating itself. So I just knew. I knew. So as a, you know, I think I was like still 21 around this time, yeah. So against my better judgment, one night I'm hanging out with my friends and I'm drinking, and we all know, and I've said this many times, drinking just makes you act like an idiot and your judgment just goes right out the window. So he calls me again that night, and so I pick it up, and he's like, I miss you, and you know, just lays it on so thick. And he's like, that girl was crazy, we broke up, I kicked her out, and da 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 da. So me, you know, I was like, okay. So I go over there, not once, not twice, but a couple of times after that, and you know what I mean, some of those feelings came back, and come to find out, he was still talking to that girl. Still talking to that girl. I found out from his roommate when he mentioned her being there the other night, and I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I did the same exact thing that I knew was gonna happen, and I should have listened to my heart, and I didn't. And he should have listened to his heart and said, you know, she, I guess, had found out that I was back in the picture on the days that she wasn't there. So he was playing both of us, basically. And so for revenge, she had her daughter, who was like, I think 8 or 9 at the time. This is gonna be hard. She had her daughter go into the police station and say that June, who you guys remember was just the biggest teddy bear, say that he molested her. And I know in my heart of hearts, like, I truly know and believe that he would never do that. He had a daughter, and she was 9. You know what I mean? It wasn't like one of those things where she was like 17 and, you know what I mean, was acting like an adult. She was a baby. And I just know that he wouldn't do that. I just do. Just from talking to him and getting to really know him and his passion as a dad for his daughter, I just know. And they don't take stuff like that lightly. Like, it's not like, you know what I mean? It's her word against his. It's, she said it and you're going to jail for ass being an idiot and messing with 2 girls, you know what I mean? And one that was literally crazy, you know what I mean? Like, I acted crazy and I did stupid, crazy things, but this girl is legit crazy. Had her daughter do this as, you know, retaliation or whatever you want to call it. So it's a really sad story, and that's how it ended. After he told me that June was in jail, I just absolutely broke all ties. I changed my number. I did everything. I was done. I moved out by this time because it had gone on for a couple weeks. Right on time, my best friend Chris came back from Michigan and had gone through a very similar situation and just was in a really horrible situation relationship wise out in Michigan, and it ended very similar to the way mine did, which was violently and, you know what I mean, not cool. And so he ended up back in Vegas, and he moved into the apartment with me because I didn't kick her out, but she moved out. She and her boyfriend, I think, got an apartment. And so she wasn't there, but like, I think maybe a month, but she was really cool. Anyway, so Chris moved into that apartment, and then that's when I found out about June. And so at the very same time that happened, my parents, who were also living in Vegas, had a house. It was a beautiful townhouse, and my dad got a job in California, and so they had to move, and they were gonna rent it out, and I was like, please rent it out to me and Chris. And so we moved in together, and that's the happiest ending that I think I had to that story. Is, you know what I mean, my best friend came back to town, him and I moved in together, and you know what I mean, other stuff happened after that. And not too long after that, about a year or so after that, I met Andrew, who is just the complete and total opposite of that. I could like sit here and cry and tell you how much I love my husband, because he's just everything that a man should be as a, you know what I mean, partner and best friend. And you know what I mean, he would never, I don't know, I could sit here and seriously cry how much I love Andrew. So anyways, that is the end of this dating horror story. I do have some really good other ones of like one-time only dates that were just absolute nightmares. So I'll get into those, but this is gonna be the end of Ask, because I don't want, reflecting on some of the stuff that happened back then, I'm just like, how did this happen? How did I let stuff like that happen? So if you are younger, the best advice I could give to you is, number one, don't date anybody who says he's a blood or a crip. It should be self-explanatory, but I'm pure evidence of it not being. And always trust your gut. Like, I knew in my gut, you know what I mean, dating this guy while he was living with another woman who was the mother of his child, like, that was wrong, you know what I mean, of me. And especially the fact that they weren't broken up and he did have a child, like, that was wrong of me. But you know what I mean, all the blame is on him, but I knew in my heart that it was wrong. And I knew in my heart, like, going back was wrong. And I knew in my heart, like, moving in together after such a short amount of time was wrong. And I'm not saying that stuff happens in a short time is wrong, because Andrew and I got married within like 4 months of meeting each other. You know, like, he proposed to me in April, even though we started talking in January. Like, Andrew and I moved very quickly, but we knew, you know what I mean? And I knew with this guy, like, it was wrong, but I was trying to get out of a bad situation, and in doing so, I put myself in an even worse situation. And you know what I mean? The violence that happened, not with him, but with his people he surrounded himself with, like, I just knew. So that's what I'm trying to get at, is like, always follow your gut and your heart, because 9 times out of 10 it's right. You know what I mean? It really is. So a sigh of relief, letting out all the negativity with that breath, and we're done with that part of my life. I'm kind of happy about sharing it with you, and you guys were like really open to it, you know what I mean, and weren't judgmental or, you know what I mean about it. So I really truly appreciate that so much, and I'm really glad that you guys enjoy this series. I really am. I love you guys so much. Please give this video a thumbs up if you'd like me to continue doing horror stories. I also have a couple retail horror stories that happened recently. So anyways, if you guys are new, hello and welcome. My name is Brittany Cocco. You are watching the Cocco channel. Please subscribe if you're not already, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye!